Hey guys, it's Aaron Respect. The Halo franchise has been around for over 2 decades, but not every project made it to your console. From canceled games to scrapped movies, this is a compiled list of every notable Halo project that got the axe. Some of these were nearly finished, others we aren't even supposed to know they existed. Let's rewind back to 2006. Microsoft had just landed Halo to the top of the gaming world, but they wanted to go bigger. Cinematic big, so they brought in Peter Jackson fresh off Lord of the Rings to helm a narrative-driven Halo project called Halo Chronicles. The idea was a hybrid experience between a game and a film. Chronicles would follow a human protagonist slowly transforming into a Forerunner-like being, the early concept of a Promethean. While exploring ancient alien ruins, it wasn't about Master Chief, it was about expanding the Halo universe beyond him. Bungie developers were involved, including Joseph Staten, Paul Bertone. They were experimenting with one-on-one dueling AI, cinematic storytelling, and melee-driven gameplay. According to insiders, it was all very experimental. But here's the problem, Halo Chronicles was tied to the Halo movie, so when the movie collapsed, so did Chronicles. Bungie left the project and it was quietly cancelled in 2009. The developers moved on to other projects like Halo ODST and work for the animated series Halo Legends. And that brings us to the doomed Halo movie. Originally announced in 2005, this film was being co-produced by Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh. With Neil Blomkamp set to direct, Weta Workshop was designing props and armor. The plan was to adapt the original Halo comedy Evolved, keeping the story grounded in the Covenant War, but Microsoft demands were massive. They wanted creative control, a cut of the box office, and approval over everything, while the studios were expected to front most of the cost. In 2006, both 20th Century Fox and Universal pulled out. The project was shelved. Blomkamp has since said he loved the world but hated the corporate meddling. He went on later to direct the movie District 9. There's even footage online of the short film Halo Landfall, which was made using assets from the cancelled movie. Next up, we have Halo MMO, codenamed Titan or known as Orion Project. This was Ensemble's studio take on a Halo MMO. Yes, a full-scale, sci-fi, World of Warcraft-style online RPG set in the Halo universe. The game would have let players choose between various factions in a fractured early Covenant society. There were early mock-ups of loot, skill trees, even cover-based combat. But here's the kicker, the MMO was never approved, it was basically being made off the books by Ensemble, hoping that Microsoft would greenlight it once they saw the prototype. It ballooned into a reported $90 million in dev costs. And that's when Microsoft stepped in and pulled the plug in 2007. The project was killed, many of Ensemble were reassigned to finish Halo Wars. Not long after that, the studio was shut down. I suppose they thought if Blizzard could go from making an RTS to creating one of the most successful MMOs ever created, they could too. In 2007, a Halo FPS running on a Nintendo DS was demoed to IGN. It featured multiplayer on Zanzibar, dual-wielding Covenant enemies, and it actually worked. The studio behind it was In Space, who later worked on the Mega Bloks game, which we'll get to later. They built a working prototype and got Microsoft and Bungie on board. But Nintendo reportedly vetoed the project, likely due to brand control and marketing concerns. It was never seen again outside of that one demo. The next one is legendary, Project Hagar, aka the Mega Bloks game. Designed as a third-person action platformer for kids, it would have mixed Halo gameplay with LEGO-style construction. The footage leaked years later showing Chief in blocky armor, driving a warthog, building a turret, and slicing grunts with an energy sword. There was even a Horde-style survival mode. The art style was kid-friendly but surprisingly faithful. Most fans believe it was nearly ready to ship before Xbox pulled the plug in 2013. Why? Maybe it was brand confusion, or maybe they didn't think a cute Halo game would sell. Either way, this is one of the biggest what-ifs in Halo history. Halo Online was a multiplayer-only, free-to-play game, oddly enough designed for the Russian market. It used a modified Halo 3 engine and was developed by Saber Interactive with support from 343. It actually had a public beta in 2015, but by 2016 it was shut down with no full release ever planned outside of Russia. But that didn't stop the fans. They reverse engineered the game to create El Dorito, a popular modded version, but Microsoft eventually stepped in and shut it down. Still, it showed that there was a big enough audience on Halo PC, and that may have helped convince Xbox to bring the Master Chief Collection to PC years later. Back in the pre-smartphone era, Microsoft partnered with In-Fusio to bring Halo to mobile phones. The deal included ringtones, wallpapers, and even a downloadable minigame, but that game never launched. According to legal documents, Microsoft rejected every game pitch In-Fusio submitted. The company eventually sued Microsoft for breach of contract, claiming millions in damages. The case was quietly settled, and the Halo mobile game faded into obscurity. As VR began to take off, 343 tried to get ahead with the prototype Halo VR experience, codenamed Project Reverie. It was never officially announced, but was developed internally around 2017. The concept was to put players inside Chief's helmet. There were jetpacks, time-slowing powers, and immersive HUD elements. It was reportedly built on top of MCC assets and used VR motion controllers. Ultimately, it never got past prototype due to VR's limited market and the high development costs. After the launch of Halo Infinite, rumors came up that Certain Affinity was developing a full-scale Battle Royale experience under the codename Project Tatanka. It was reportedly tested weekly with massive playfields, equipment drops, and narrative progression. But as 343 began restructuring and shifting towards a new game in Unreal Engine, Tatanka was scrapped in 2023. It remains one of the most talked about missed opportunities in modern Halo. In interviews and leaks, developers have hinted at dozens of internal Halo spin-offs that never get off the ground. Kevin Schmidt, a former designer at 343 Industries, said they pitched 20 to 30 different Halo game ideas over a decade, many of which were viable projects. One pitch resembled Helldivers. As an ODST co-op shooter, players would control troopers in top-down or third-person missions against Covenant or Banished enemies. Think tactical, horde-based survival. Other proposals included character-driven side stories and sequels to Halo 3 ODST. Schmidt called it infuriating that none of these were greenlit. Xbox leadership, reportedly risk-adverse at the time, often vetoed these spin-offs before development could begin. Most of these concepts exist only as early concept art or high-level pitch documents. 343 also played with smaller projects that never saw daylight. One was Halo Starfighter, a prototype space combat game inspired by Reach's Saber mission. Concept art showed broadswords, dogfighting banshees above a planet. Another scrapped effort was a cinematic trailer project showcasing a UNSC frigate encountering a Forerunner relic. Lastly, Certain Affinity pitched a downloadable Halo arcade game for early Xbox Live. That too was shelved as Microsoft chose to focus on building the Halo Waypoint app and add bigger media integrations. Let's talk about Halo Wars 3. After Halo Wars 2 launched in 2017 with a solid fan base, many hoped for a trilogy finale. According to multiple insiders, Halo Wars 3 was an active pitch at Creative Assembly and even began early design phases. The game would have taken the RTS formula further, introducing space battles between fleets, enhanced base building mechanics, and more dynamic campaign choices. It was also meant to explore post-Halo Infinite storylines or an alternative Banished narrative, but by 2019 priorities had shifted. 343 and Xbox wanted to put all their major resources into Halo Infinite, and Creative Assembly focused on other IPs. While a small internal team kept pushing for the Halo Wars 3 pitch, Microsoft quietly declined to greenlight the project. With 343 confirming on Waypoint that no new Halo Wars titles were in development, and with the closure of Halo Wars 2 support in 2021, hopes for a trilogy end faded. As of now, Halo Wars 3 remains one of the most requested but least likely Halo sequels. Halo's live-action TV journey has been equally rocky. If you've been around, we all remember seeing Spielberg's announcement at E3. The Spielberg-produced Halo series was announced in 2013 after multiple showrunner changes, delays, and a move from Showtime to Paramount. It finally premiered in 2022 despite releasing Season 2 in 2024. The show was cancelled mid-year after poor reception and internal budget cuts. Several other screen efforts were also quietly scrapped or morphed into new formats. A rumored live-action Fall of Reach film became an animated miniseries in 2015. Likewise, a proposed anime-style Halo movie from 2006 evolved into the Halo Legends show. The takeaway: almost every major screen adaptation of Halo, whether traditional film or animated, Halo has faced intense challenges to bring these to life. And now we're left with what ifs. Let us know in the comments what project you wish would have made it, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.